Flashout 3D is a free arcade racing game on PC that I highly suggest anyone try in 2025, even if you're not big into racing titles. Flashout 3D is a short game, as the campaign took me somewhere between 2 to 3 hours to beat, and the campaign is spread out among several cups. Now thankfully, you only needed to finish a cup in third or better to progress in the game, so that was nice, and each cup was made up of several races and you earn points based off your position in each race, with all your points totaled at the end to determine your final score, so nothing too fancy, just your standard racing progression system. Apart from the main mode, you could play single races and time trials, although there's no multiplayer. But you could adjust the difficulty of single races to your liking, and you could play with assisted controls on or off, and I kept them off outside of testing them once for the sake of my review. Moving over to talk about gameplay, this title is pretty fast-paced, as you control speedy ships in often tight spaces, and hitting walls and red landmines damages your vehicle, and this game took me a bit of getting used to, but even with practice, I still ran into walls and mines sometimes, and running out of health causes your ship to explode. Now, environmental hazards weren't the only threats to your ship's condition, as running into fellow racers can take away some HP, and your opponents can, and will, shoot you with machine guns and rockets. And dying was always super frustrating, as it took forever to respawn, but thankfully you can acquire repair kits to patch up your ship. In addition to repair kits, there are other power-ups like a speed boost, coins, or money, if you prefer, ammo drops, and autopilot power-ups, which were a disappointment. So on paper, the autopilot power-up was good. Your ride steers itself for a few seconds. Sounds pretty neat, but you completely lose control and cannot move your ship at all, and the autopilot would sometimes dodge coins and hidden pathways, so I didn't really use the automatic pilot, but thankfully you can carry multiple power-ups at once, so even if you did grab one, you could still get a speed boost and weapon ammo. Getting a bit deeper into those hidden paths I just mentioned, sometimes you can shoot walls to reveal a hidden part of the track, which was usually a shortcut, although these could get a little glitchy and I would very obviously shoot them, and nothing happened, causing me to sometimes ram into a wall that I should have destroyed. The other type of hidden paths were activated by switches, and they most often activated a ramp that would lead you up to a stretch of track above the main racetrack, and these were always really fun to come across. Getting into the tracks themselves, they all looked and felt the same to me, if I'm being honest. I mean, sure, they are different, but none of them had any distinctive features at all, and none of them really stood out to me in the least. Changing topics, I would like to talk about vehicle selection and upgrades. You start off with the basic low-stat ship, but you can spend your money to buy better ships, having 6 options to choose from, and they vary in top speed, acceleration, and handling. Plus, you can upgrade your ships to add things like extra health, larger ammo capacity, or spawn-in power-ups at the start of races. And spawn-in power-ups were exactly what they sounded like. You start a race with whatever power-up you purchase for that individual ship. As far as performance, Flashout 3D mostly ran smoothly, although it had the odd glitch every now and then, like the wall glitch I mentioned earlier, and other things. A couple times I also had a glitch where my controller wouldn't stop vibrating, and I would have to go to the settings to turn it off. Like, I'd do something which made the controller vibrate, but it wouldn't stop when it was supposed to, if that makes sense. But thankfully, this only happened a couple times, so not really a game ruiner. Other than that, this title largely ran well with a controller, although for some reason I had to use my mouse to press the buy ship button whenever I got a new ride. Some bug or something most likely, but again, not a game ruiner. The sound effects in this game were good, and the soundtrack wasn't bad. Plus, this title even has some basic voice acting. It wasn't much, just a woman saying machine gun or rockets when you picked up ammunition, but it was a cool little feature, I reckon. In conclusion, with all this said, Flashout 3D is a simple, fun racing game that earns an 8.3 out of 10 from me. Not the best racing game in the world, but it's short and sweet, and you can't say no to its price of $0. Now that being said, I'm 99% sure this game's price was largely intended as a marketing tactic to get people to buy the other games in the series, as there's an ad for Flashout 3 on the main menu. But I am interested in trying out the sequel, and I wishlisted it on Steam. Although the second game isn't on GOG for whatever reason, only 1 and 3. Anyways, as far as similar games I would recommend, I'm going to say Joyride Turbo or Things on Wheels if you can find some legitimate way to play it. And I have reviewed both of these games, by the way. Links in the end cards if you want to check out those videos. As far as our Bible verse of the day, I read Acts 8:20 NIV. Peter answered, "May your money perish with you, because you thought you could buy the gift of God with money." And that's all for me for today, folks. Thanks for stopping by and tolerating my horrible narration. I hope you enjoyed my video. For anyone new here, I mostly review and discuss video games, so feel free to subscribe if that sounds like your thing. Like always, none of my content is ever made by AI, and I do not consent to my voice and likeness being modified, altered, and copied by AI in any way. Jesus loves you all. Take it easy. Peace.
Speed.